Hey friends, Audrey Henley here, and today is the 100 subscriber Q&A extravaganza. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. I've been on YouTube for 5 months now, and I've had such a fun time getting to know all of you and getting better at editing and filming and speaking, so thank you all for being part of the journey. A while back I asked on Twitter and on a previous video on YouTube for some questions for me to answer, so that's what I'm doing today. It'll be a short video, but I just thought it would be fun to answer some of your questions and let you know some things about me. Okay, so my first question is from Avalyn Lewis, who is one of my critique partners and a gem of a person. Follow her on Twitter. Her question is, what book are you looking forward to most in 2020? Easily that's The Toll by Neal Shusterman, the end of a sci-fi series that I have been listening to an audiobook since the beginning, and I'm just obsessed. Honestly, some of the best science fiction writing in YA I've read. It's just super strong. It's not surprising because this author, Neal Shusterman, has been writing since like the 90s, so it's been writing for a while, and I don't know, this series was just delightful, and I can't wait for the last one. Runner-up would be The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, which is a Hunger Games prequel. So I'm excited for both of those, but yeah, Neal Shusterman definitely, I'm waiting for that one to drop. Question number 2 is from Lizelle Sambury, who has a really cool YouTube channel that you should subscribe to. I'll link it below. Her question was, what is your favorite book you've put out so far? And for sure my favorite video is the AuthorTube Pay It Forward tag, because in that tag I had the chance to point to some other AuthorTube channels and some other creators and just really let you all know how great they are. So that was a lot of fun, and it had a really positive response. So yeah, that was just a lot of fun to film and to make, and so AuthorTube Pay It Forward tag. Question number 3 is from Jennifer T. Jarrett, another critique partner of mine. Thanks for the question, Jennifer. She has a YouTube channel as well. You should check out and subscribe. And she gave me the toughest question ever, so thanks a lot. And it was, what's one piece of life advice you think everyone needs to hear right now? I had to think about this one for a while. And this is sort of more geared toward creative people like me, but my advice would be to try to settle your life. Make sure you have a job with enough money and healthcare. Get your mental health stuff checked out, like see a psychologist or a psychiatrist if you need to. Settle anything with your relationships. If you're in a bad relationship, get out of it. Do all of that stuff first. Like, that is your first priority before writing or any other art form. And the reason I say that is because having your life stable helps you be more productive. At least it did for me. I really wasn't active on Twitter or on YouTube when I was depressed, and I wasn't really writing, to be honest. And since I got a new job a couple years ago, my productivity just spiked. And it wasn't like I wasn't able to write in the job before that, but it was definitely a little stressful, and so I was emotionally drained a lot of the time. And this new job, I'm not as emotionally drained, so hooray, I can write more. And it's just been a huge boon to my writing. So figure out your life first, and then start writing. And I think that's not advice that a lot of people would say or do, but your life comes first. So okay, another tough question. This comes from Laura Wrights. She has a great YouTube channel, I'll link below. So her question was, who are your top 5 favorite YA authors right now? So I wrote these down, but I'm not sure who to say first. Cindy Pon, her Want and Ruse series is excellent. Basically the premise is the world's air has gotten so bad that people need to wear masks in order to breathe. And this company makes these really expensive suits to be able to do that. And so you have to be rich to have one and to be able to breathe properly and to not have a shortened lifespan. So that feels like something that could happen in 50 years. So very prescient, very close to now. And her first novel and her second were equally good in my opinion, like well thought out characters, just really great action in general. So I guess Cindy Pon as one of my favorite YA authors right now. Next, I would say Emily Savada. This Mortal Coil series, I've read the first 2 and the 3rd one is still coming out, and I can't wait. This is another sci-fi one. As you can tell, I really look up to sci-fi YA writers. But she has another cool premise, and there's like gene splicing and future technology and all this stuff that I love, and there's bunkers. Love bunkers. So it has all the stuff I love, but also really solid character development, and I think the pacing's pretty good. Lots of action squeezed into one book. So Emily Savada's on that list. I have to stick Neal Shusterman on here because, to be honest, I'm loving his books. I'm loving the Scythe series, and I'm really considering going back to some of his older school YA novels just because I want more of his writing. Comment below if you've read them. Will I like them as much as I liked the Scythe series? Let me know. But yeah, he's on my list. Next, I would say Alexandra Christo, who wrote To Kill a Kingdom. And so this was a debut book. This is her first book, so I just really enjoyed it. And it's a fantasy, and it's about mermaids. Sorry, it's about sirens. They're different in this book. Mermaids are their own thing. But it's about sirens, and it's about like a kingdom, and so none of this stuff is the stuff I'm usually into, but I'd heard a lot of good things about it, and I think the ebook was on sale, so I bought it, and like, I had jury duty, so this was like the thing. I brought my Kindle and just read it while waiting for jury duty to happen. But it just kept me really into the book, and it was very stabby. And one thing about me is I really love stabby characters. So definitely one of my favorite YA writers right now, Alexandra Christo, and I can't wait for more. And then the last one I'm gonna have to give this to, here she is, S.J. Kincaid. This should not surprise you if you've watched my channel for a while because I'm always bringing this book out, but S.J. Kincaid, man. Stabby space princess. It's just good stuff. Good stuff all around. The pacing is perfect. Like, I'm always like, you finish one chapter, you're like, oh my god, I need to read more, and then you're done with the book. Super intense, super cool sci-fi, and there's cool things like zero gravity dances, so you get to see like dances like floating around in zero gravity, so super cool. If you like Alexa Dunn stuff, I think you'd really like S.J. Kincaid too. So to wrap up, my favorite authors right now are Cindy Pon, Emily Savada, Neal Shusterman, Alexandra Christo, and S.J. Kincaid. So yeah, this question comes from Tabitha Shipley. I'll leave her channel down below. And her question was, what is your favorite writing snack? So my comfort food has always been granola, with or without milk. A lot of times with milk. I just love eating cereal all day, every day. Like, what food would you bring on a desert island? It'd be cereal. So yeah, in college I started eating, like, I had this like meal when I was stressed. I had my stress meal, and it was like these big granola things that they had in like one of those cereal dispensers, and then they had chocolate soy milk because I'm a vegan now, but I was really strict vegan then. So they had chocolate soy milk, and I'd slather peanut butter on there, and that is like the Audrey is stressed out and needs to stress eat. That is my comfort food. So final question, this is from Robert at The Story Detective. I will link his channel below. So his question was a little long, so I'm going to paraphrase a little. So his question was like, how do you create interesting and believable quirks / habits for characters? I have been doing this a lot lately because I'm currently drafting my Ghostpocalypse story. I have some very quirky characters in there, so I've definitely started picking out their quirks. Not as much their habits, but definitely like their, I guess, ticks, like the things they do, like, you know, chewing their nails or something, that's a tick. I'll give you a few examples. I have this agent, like not a literary agent, like a talent agent for like actors. So I have that character, and she likes pinching her nose when she's upset, so she just goes like and I think how I picked that is like, I never do that myself, and I guess I associate that action with someone who's really uptight, which I think fits her character. To answer the question, I think for her, I really did just go for the easiest thing, like came into my mind, it seemed to fit her character, and I went with it. But I guess I do have some tips, and one of them is to think about character size and like the physicality of the character. For example, if you have a character with long hair like me, they're gonna be playing with their hair a lot, and everyone plays with their hair differently. They might like that, or like twist it, or, you know, do a casual hair flip. All those things are different characteristics, and you could like know your character has long hair and then think about all the things that would cause them to do and think about which is the most fitting for that character. If a character is really tall or has like really broad shoulders, or let's be honest, like a bigger chest, anything like that, they're going to have some back pain, so they're going to like crack their back a lot. It's something you can think about. Or like stretch. So those are some things to think about. And I'll give you one example of what I did for a character. So I have my soft boy vampire, and he, so in my world, vampires, their bodies basically stay the same as when they died. So when my vampire character died, he was in the hospital, so he had really long, untrimmed cuticles. And his family, like, they all have long cuticles. And so he has long cuticles, and if he cuts them off, they just grow back. And so he's constantly like pushing back his cuticles because it bothers him, but they always grow back because he's a vampire in heels, and it always wants to go back to that natural state. So yeah, Robert, I guess I would just say, like, think about the physicality of your character, and like, so not only their personality, but like, what are the physical things about them that you know, and like, what do you think those physical characteristics would leave someone to do? Is that someone who's gonna have back pain? They have long hair or short hair? Ooh, another thing to bring up is double jointedness. So my SO has double jointedness, and so he can do this weird wavy thing with his fingers that I can't do. And I'm sure double jointed people have a lot of other things, so think about that. And then other than that, just think about what people you know do. Like someone who's really anxious that you know, what are their mannerisms? And don't steal all of them. You don't want to write that person into your book, but you know, you can take one or two and really put that on one character. And definitely do stay consistent. Like when you have a character and they're waiting around, like it's sort of like in a video game when you have like, you're not moving your avatar around or whatever. They have like a on board move, you know? And so think about what that would be for your character. As far as habits go, give your character a habit that isn't related to their main things. So like, let's say my main character is an actor, right? But she also really likes the New York Times. Like she's kind of a New York Times fangirl and loves reading it. It doesn't really have to do with acting, but it's something that also defines her. So it's good to have like different things to define her. Okay, so I've ran out of questions. That was all the questions I have, but if you have more, feel free to leave them below. I'll answer them at some point. And yeah, thanks for watching. This was a lot of fun, and thank you so much for subscribing and supporting me and commenting and being lovely people. I've had such a fun time here on YouTube, and hope to have more fun times ahead. So thank you so much. See you guys next week. Bye.